Hello friends, I'm Stan, experienced professional in contracts and procurement. Now I am a contract engineer in China. Because contract management is a part of supply chain management, today I would like to talk with you about supply chain management. Supply chain management can be defined as the management of flow of products and services, which mainly begins from the origin of products and ends and the product's consumption, right? It also comprises movement and storage of raw materials that are involved in work in progress and inventory and fully furnished goods. The main objective for supply chain management is to monitor and relate production, distribution and shipment of products and services. I would like to pay your attention on this figure. So we can see the flow of goods, services and information from the producer to the customer. The picture mainly depicts the movement of a product from the producer to the manufacturer, who in the same time forwards it to the distributor for shipment, right? The distributor in turn ships it to the wholesaler or retailer, who further distributes the products to various shops from where the customers can easily get the product. And because I am a contract engineer in China and I work in oil industry, I would like to show you my personal example of supply chain in oil industry. So please take a look at the picture. In oil industry, the whole supply chain could be divided into three main steps, which are called as upstream industry, midstream industry, downstream industry. So first, simply speaking, oil should be recovered. So it will be done in terms of upstream industry. Then oil should be transported, which is midstream industry. Then oil will be refined at relevant refineries and then will be distributed, okay? Please write in comments how supply chain management works in your business sphere. And let's continue. And supply chain management basically merges the supply and in the same time demand management, okay? It uses different strategies and approaches, mainly to view the entire chain and work efficiently at each and every step involved in the chain. Every unit that participates in the process must aim to minimize their costs. It's very important, and help the companies to improve their long-term performance, while also creating value for its stakeholders and customers. It's clear. This process can also minimize the rates by cutting the unnecessary expenses. And in the beginning, it's also important to speak about what kind of benefits and advantages supply chain management has, which goals may be. So let's try to define it together. And I would propose to start from advantages or benefits. So in this era of globalization where companies compete to provide the best quality products, so the level of competition is very high, so they compete to provide best products, best quality to the customers and satisfy all their demands, supply chain management plays a very important role. And all the companies are highly dependent on effective supply chain process. Let's take a look on the major advantages of supply chain. I would like to propose to highlight the following key benefits of supply chain management. If you have an effective supply chain management in your company, it also develops better customer relationship and service. Effective supply chain management system also creates better delivery mechanism for products and services in demand with minimum delay, right? If we have a good relationships with our customers, if we have clear delivery mechanism, of course it will improve our productivity and business functions. In the same time, speaking about improving of productivity and business functions, important to note, as we mentioned in the beginning, one of the main ideas of supply chain management is to minimize costs. And here we can say that effective supply chain management minimizes warehouse and transportation costs and in the same time minimizes direct and indirect costs. If you will manage your supply chain, if you have a clear process, it can help you to achieve shipping of right products to the right place at the right time without any risks and delays. And because we start from high level introduction like this is the era of globalization, it's also important to note that supply chain management helps companies in adapting to the challenges of globalization, economic. It also helps to minimize waste, driving out costs, and achieving efficiencies throughout the supply chain processes, as we highlighted before. These were some of the major advantages of supply chain management, and after taking a quick glance at the concept and advantages on supply chain management, let's take a look at the main goals of this management. To be honest, it was a little bit difficult to draw any line between, advantages and goals of supply chain management. But nevertheless, let's try to do it. Well, every firm strives to match supply with demand in a timely fashion with the most efficient use of resources, right? And in terms of this, we can define the following key goals of supply chain management. Well, it goes without saying that supply chain partners should work collaboratively at different levels in order to maximize resource productivity, construct standardized processes, and remove any duplicate efforts, and of course minimize inventory levels. The second goal I would like to propose is minimization of supply chain expenses, which is very essential, especially when there are economic uncertainties in companies regarding their wish to conserve capital, for instance. The next is supply chain managers need to concentrate on value creation for their customers, right? So of course cost-efficient and cheap products are necessary, but value creation is very important. Exceeding the customer's expectations on a regular basis is the best way to satisfy them. So this statement could be also defined as a goal of supply chain management. And here it's also important to say that supply chain management aims at contributing to the financial success of an enterprise or company. And in addition to all the points highlighted above, it aims at leading enterprises using the supply chain to improve differentiation, increase sales, and penetrate new markets. The objective is to drive competitive benefit and shareholders' value. So, and as we told in the beginning, supply chain management, it's a whole process. So it's not only a definition, it's a whole process which usually includes several stages. Such process used by companies to ensure that their supply chain is efficient and cost effective, as we also mentioned. A supply chain is consequences or collection of steps that a company takes to transform raw materials into a final product. And we can start from the first stage, from initial stage, which is plan. Plan is basis for everything and basis for supply chain process. We need to develop a plan or strategy in order to address how the products and services will satisfy the demands and other necessities of our customers. In this stage, the planning should mainly focus on designing a strategy that yields maximum profit. For managing all the resources required for designing products and providing services, a strategy has to be designed by the companies. And here supply chain management mainly focuses on planning and developing a set of metrics. The next stage is sourcing. So it's the next step after planning. At this stage, we mainly concentrate on building a strong relationship with suppliers of the raw materials required for production. And this usually involves not only identifying dependable suppliers, but also determining different planning methods for shipping, delivery, and of course, payment of the product. Companies here need to select suppliers to deliver the items and services they require to develop their product. So in this stage, the supply chain managers need to construct a set of pricing, delivery, and payment processes with supplier, and also create the metrics for controlling and improving the relationships. And finally, the supply chain managers at this stage can combine all these processes for handling their goods and services inventory. This handling comprises receiving and examining shipments, transferring them to the manufacturing facilities, and authorizing supplier payments. The next step is called as make. It is the third step in supply chain management, and it is a manufacturing, or as we told, making of product stage. that were demanded by the customer. In this stage, the products are designed, produced, tested, packaged and synchronized for delivery, right? Here, the task of supply chain manager is to schedule all the activities required for manufacturing, testing, packaging, and preparation for delivery. So this making stage is considered as the most metric intensive unit of the supply chain. It's better to say metric intensive, where firms can gauge the quality levels, production output, and worker productivity. After manufacturing, we have a delivery stage, right? Don't forget about picture, what we have already reviewed. This stage is basically the logistic phase, where customer orders are accepted and delivery of the goods is planned. The delivery stage is often referred as logistics, where firms collaborate for the receipt of orders from customers, establish a network of warehouses, pick carriers to deliver products to customers, and set up of invoicing system to receive payments. I think all I mentioned above should clearly define this stage of delivery. And the last stage is return. So why it's return? It's last and final stage of supply chain management, where defective or damaged goods, unfortunately sometimes it could take place. So such goods are returned to the supplier by the customer. Here the companies need to deal with customer queries and respond to their complaints. This stage often tends to be a problematic section maybe of the supply chain for many companies. And the planners of supply chain need to discover a responsive and flexible network for accepting damaged, defective, and extra products back from their customers and facilitating the return process for customers who have issues with the delivered products. Hey friends, please write in comments your feedback regarding this lecture about supply chain management. Put your likes, subscribe this channel, click bell in order to be the first when I will upload my next video. Thank you and see you soon.